a German beer with a Cuban cigar. In the middle of Paris with a Dominican bar. Great head on her shoulder, she probably studied abroad. She transferred to Harvard from King's College in March. She says that I'm her favorite cause she admires the art. Michelangelo with the flow, Picasso with the bar. She's well put together like a piece by Gershwin. Renaissance style, tonight is picture perfect, so smile and pack your bags real good, baby, cause you'll be gone for a while. Wow, wow. Girl, tell me how you feel. What's your fantasy? I see it's on the beach down in Mexico. You can put your feet up, be my senorita. We ain't gotta rush, just take it slow. You'll be in the highlight, soaking up the sunlight. Anything you want, it's yours. I have you living life like you should. Just say you never had it so good.
Hi, this is Adil Rajabali and welcome to the Weekly Trader Show. Today we're going to talk about assets, liabilities, and equities and the ground rules about investing. Now, some people get confused what exactly assets, liabilities, and equities are, so I'm going to put it in a football analogy. Think of assets as your whole football team. Your water boy, your coaches, your football players and everything. Your equity are the players that are very important. Your coaches are your head coaches or anyone that's a very crucial part of the team. And liabilities are players that are a crucial part of the team, but they're like injured or their contracts are about to expire and stuff like that. And another sector of that cash flow is called a cash flow statement. It's called cash and cash equivalents. Now that's always on the asset side, and if you put in a football analogy, they're kind of like the backup, since they're not the crucial part of the team itself, but they are a backup just in case something goes wrong. So, and another reason why they have a cash and cash equivalents tab, they always see them underneath the cash flow statements, stuff like that. The reason they have that is so you can calculate the enterprise value of the company, which we'll discuss later. Another thing. Now, if you see it in a football side, when you're looking at a football team, how do you determine if a team is good? You look at their players, you see how good they train or they get their numbers and stuff like that. You do the same thing with companies. You look at their assets, how well do they perform on their assets, return on assets, or on their equity, return on equity. Or you see how well do they minimize liabilities, and you have to increase the equity throughout the years. And that's where you basically see how the maximum potential a company does every year. Another thing I'm going to explain to you is the price to earnings dilemma. And the reason I call it dilemma is like when a lot of people tell you to look at annual reports, they always say, hey, look at the price to earnings. They always tell you what companies are good. That's technically wrong. Reason being is that price to earnings just gives that one aspect, and that one aspect is the overall of the company. It takes out the situation of what is the company's financial structure. Does it have any liability? If it does, how many does it have? And that just changes the whole ballgame depending on how much of that income goes somewhere and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying, the price to earnings dilemma. And the way to avoid that is having more measurements. There's more ratios. There's ROA, RE. There's book value, market value, and stuff like that. So you look at everything before you make your decision. And one more thing I want to talk about before we leave is risk tolerance. And what I want to talk about risk tolerance is that I think of it as a very important skill to have when you're investing, and for any person. Reason being is like, take example for Warren Buffett. In weeks in time, he loses millions of dollars. And but still he sticks with that company because he is confident of that company's going to come to his level. So it's really important to have risk tolerance. One way to actually increase your risk tolerance, follow this one phrase, or always follow. Whenever you're investing, whatever money you're investing in or with, think of it as the next day you can lose all that money. I'm not trying to freak you out, but once you prepare yourself for the worst, losing 4 or 5% in a day is not that big of a deal to you. Another thing I want to say is every company has a possibility of becoming the next Enron. And what I mean by that is everybody knows about Enron, that they're fudging numbers and the company went bankrupt and all these bad things were happening with Enron, and the investors were the ones that were getting affected. What I'm trying to say that every company has that possibility of becoming the next Enron, meaning that every company has a possibility of being very unethical or a Ponzi scheme or anything like that. So you have to go back and actually think to yourself, hey, this could be the next Enron. I have to go back and see why can it not be the next Enron. So that's a good way to look at it. And thank you for coming to the weekly show. I'm Adil Rajabali, and I'm here to make finance sense.